The views expressed in this broadcast do not reflect that of the network and/or its affiliates. Visit buttonroach.com for more information and to view the entire network. The following is presented by Button Roach ENT, Uncensored Global Entertainment.
I know my This is Real Loud Radio, and I'm your host, Joey Ivy, writer and engineer of Real Loud Radio. I had a fantastic opportunity to conversate and record the conversation between myself and Morgana Speakslow, a poet, a writer, resident of Queens, New York. She has a book called Toppled Dream Stacks, where she infuses her Native American culture into every single page of poetry. Here is her poem titled Moon Children. Sit back and relax and enjoy. Moon Children by Morgana Speakslow.
Moon children. Moon children grace the night streets, spraying their initials on things they don't possess, like worn-out tenement walls and fast food chicken spots where the sleep-forsaken meet. Sometimes their cries jolt me from restful slumber, with visions of some violent act being played out stories below. But sorting sounds of the city's darkness determines all is well. Their laughter comes and goes. Moon children fall into pre-arranged sex traps in welcoming parks, on jaded benches where last evening's moans still linger, the scent of love tenacious on the air, inciting youthful sap to flow as they touch, they kiss, they weave into unbreakable clenches. Gigantic music boxes wrap along, crowding frail shoulders, as a convert spins to soul oblivion on his back, while onlookers clap, unaware that the 4 o'clock prowling beast might pluck, eat, and discard his remnants behind tree-shadowy Central Park boulders. Faster than the man of steel, they speed through time, on revved-up bikes which fling them into ditches, in stolen cars whose wheels leave earth, they learn to fly, crashing down with stunned vehicles that slow to stop, their drivers paying last respects in tedious winding lines. Crouched in the narrow spaces between parked cars, the small and briefly burning torches, no symbol of hope, they sift through the still breathing ash for unused vials of crack, living the scene that murdered future dreams. At pale of eastern sky they ghost away, and somber faces file along the sun-glazed avenues. I search for a hint of the previous night's dissipation.
And that poem was Moon Children by Morgana Speakslow, one of many beautiful poems in the book Toppled Dream Stacks. Later on during our conversation, she was able to express the feeling, the sentiment, the rhythms, the sounds that were present during the time that she was writing Moon Children.
And the music was real loud. Boom, 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 boom. No reggae and no rap and no rap.
Wow.
This is before rap.
So what kind of music was there during that time with Moon Children that you remember?
The kind of music? Sometimes a bit disco sound. A little bit of disco sound.
So it was in the 70s?
Beat. It was a beat. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, so maybe it's like a disco sound.
Mm.
Yeah. but it was loud. But and the guys would be spinning on the ground. What is that dance?
Oh, the break dancing?
The break dancing, yeah.
Wow.
They were doing break dancing. Yeah.
So Moon Children came to you when you were driving? When you were driving on Grand Central Parkway?
No, it came to me in the house when I heard a lot of commotion down in the street. And I said, what are they up to now? What's going on? Because I heard all this commotion. But they weren't doing anything bad.
Was it Manhattan?
No, where I live now.
Oh, in Queens.
Yeah, they were not doing anything bad, but some people that lived in the building called the cops on them.
Oh, wow.
And I had gone to the window to look out and watch them because I heard them making the noise. They were only making noise. They were not bothering anybody. But these people, these nosy people, terrible people in the building, they called the cops on them. And I was saying, oh, no, they didn't have to do that. Those kids were not doing anything wrong. Mm-hmm. They were just talking too loud and laughing too loud and whatever. And maybe they stopped, they paused, under the building instead of continuing their walk. So it made it sound like, too much noise or something. And I said, oh, look at that. That's ridiculous. Those kids didn't do anything. The kids were not really bad. Like, they were not doing the kind of crimes that they do today.
Right.
I don't remember anybody really hurting somebody, attacking old people and pushing them down, and nothing like that.
Now, how would you compare reservation life to city life?
Well, it could be. I would say it's easier on the reservation. It's easier. People know each other and they're related.
Okay.
Most people are connected by blood in some way,
okay.
And so they're pretty good with each other. It could be a little boring sometimes because there's not much to do, and kids have to find something to do. So I would say it's less dangerous for one thing, and but a little boring because there's not a lot of activity going on.
Why did you call them Moon Children?
Because most of the time they were out at night, and I'm a moon follower, a moon worshiper.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Is that part of astrology?
No. Not as astrology.
Okay.
We call her Grandmother Moon, and so I just sort of. The moon has played a big role in my life, and so I'm sort of a moon person. And a moon worshiper.
Would you call yourself a moon child?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I'm a moon child.
I mean, I've heard that description, but I've never really known what that means, a moon child.
Yeah. This is amazing that at night, sometimes I wake up because there's a bright light in my eyes, and it's always the moon.
It's not the sun.
Oh, no. It's always the moon.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So is it, right.
And especially when it's a nice full moon, there's that big moon. My eyes pop open, and I look, and I say, oh, my God, it's the moon. It's Grandmother Moon. I said, look, she's looking in on me. And I stare. I'm so thrilled to have the moon come to me like that.
Wow.
I'll tell you a funny story. That, well, I'm going to say it. I don't care.
Go for it. No.
My dad was amazing. He must have been the best father that ever lived, the best person that ever lived. Extremely handsome. He was part Cherokee Indian, and the other side of him was Scots and Irish. So, but my dad had a lot of from the Smoky Mountains of North Carolina, where this culture thrives and stuff, or it still does. Anyway, he had a lot of motions that I've seen.
Like a sailor?
No. Like, they were kind of Irish, I would say. Like, you're doing the jig or something.
Right.
And there's motions. My dad had those motions. Anyway, on Sundays, he used to take me out in the carriage. And I was under a year old. And my mother would be home cooking. And he would take me out in the carriage. But up and down 7th Avenue, there were nothing but bars. So my dad took me into every bar that was on 7th Avenue. And he propped me up on the counter. And I sat on the counter and he drank.
Wow.
Yes. And the first words I learned were like, "See moon, daddy, see moon." That's when he's bringing me home because it's in the fall and the moon comes out early. It's like it gets dark early, so he's pushing the carriage and he's drunk, and the carriage is weaving, and I'm in the carriage. See moon, daddy, see moon. I was focused on the moon. Now, the other thing I did, I'm sitting on the counter, and I'm saying, more pretzely, please. More pretzely. More pickly, please. More pickly. And a little beer, please. A little beer. He gave me beer. I wasn't even a year old.
Oh, wow.
But today they throw in jail. But anyway, no, I loved him for that because I'm still the best beer drinker that there is.
Wow. Well, that's good.
Give you root beer?
Was it root beer?
No, it wasn't root beer.
It was the real
hops or something.
Wow.
The real thing.
Well, I know my grandmother used to tell me that in her days they used to give toddlers, especially that were moving around a lot, the terrible twos. She would give them a little bit of liquor on their tongue. She would just dip her thumb in let's say Bacardi or something, and then and to help them relax to go to sleep, especially a hyperactive child.
Well, in those days they gave preemies, the little premature babies.
Mm-hmm.
They gave them beer.
Really? For their system? For sleep?
Oh yeah, no, not to sleep, but to develop and everything else. They gave them because beer is see, the natives, we call a lot of things what do we call it? Medicine foods. So beer to me is a medicine food.
Mm.
It might not be to you or to other people, but I know it as a medicine food because I know that it's going to heal certain parts of me.
Right.
And if I had stomach problems, I knew that I should drink beer, and beer healed me. I used to have a serious vomiting problem because I don't know, I can't digest, especially if it has fat or oil. I couldn't digest it. So everybody that knew me knew that I'd have to stop my car while I'm driving it and get out, pull to the curb, get out, and go in the back of the car and be sick. So I did this for years. I was always sick. Okay. So, but I found out that if I drank beer, the beer cured that. It stopped that, and I got well. And I didn't do it. So see, for me, it's a medicine food.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it was for my dad, but if you could have seen him to this day, you would still be laughing.
Wow.
If you could have seen him when he was coming home on Christmas Day, and he would run forward about 10 steps, then he would fall back about 5.
Wow.
And then he would wind up like this. Yeah.
Now, Morgana has an uncanny ability and energy to just draw anyone into the conversation. Here is Han, engineer of 3E Computer Systems, who was giving his experience on alcohol use, medicinal use, for children who are experiencing upset stomach and diarrhea. Here is Han of 3E.
Chinese, they drink rum.
They drink rum?
Rum, yeah. When the baby always get diarrhea, stuff like that, they let the baby have the rum.
Oh, see that? Yeah,
Rum.
Okay.
Rum,
So that's a medicine food. And that stopped the diarrhea.
Yeah.
So that's a medicine food. Okay,
Yeah.
I got you.
Wow. That is amazing. Now,
Maybe for Chinese baby, not for me.
Yeah.
now, the passing of a Bowery bum. What made you write that poem?
Well, I got accustomed years ago to seeing what they call the Bowery bums lying on the street, lying in the doorway, and they were obviously homeless. They were all dirty, and they were drunks. And I also, as a social worker, I got a position whereby I had to go to the Greenwich Hotel, which is a hotel on the Bowery, and but I didn't go up to the rooms. I sat and they had a